Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@usaprepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, blissed? Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
Yes.
Hey, it's great to hear your voice. It really is.
Always good to be with you.
I want to thank Alex for engineering the broadcast. Alex engineers on Mondays, and he really likes USA Prepares, and he really likes Dr. Norman Shealy. So he gets to have fun, learn, and be at work all at the same time. So thank you, Alex, for what you do. Dr. Shealy, I got a quick question for you. Is there anything that you would like to share before we get started today?
Open line Monday.
Okay, Open Line Monday. So, class, if you'd like to call and talk with Dr. Norman Shealy, 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Telephone listen line is up and running, 605-477-3249, 605-477-3249. So I have a question, Dr. Shealy, actually a lot of questions. One of them is, we have been talking about diabetes and we've been talking about obesity. And what is the actual link between diabetes and obesity? Because I believe you had mentioned that in the past that if you see somebody that's overweight, you can almost be sure that that person has diabetes. And when I say overweight, I mean significantly overweight.
Yeah,
is that right?
I'd say, in general, it's over 90%.
Okay. So what is the link? What causes diabetes?
They're using more calories than they're burning. They're eating more calories than they're burning in their normal activity. And when you have extra calories, it turns into fat. And when you have that in your body, it puts a strain on every organ, but especially the pancreas and the heart.
Okay, so that's what it is. It puts the strain on the pancreas and the heart. Okay. And I've noticed that people who are overweight, let's say you were to say to one of those guys, hey, let's go take a walk. You know, they get this look in their eyes like, do we have to? And the other thing that happens is if they do take that little walk, they're huffing and puffing. Now, is that because of that extra fat around their body that is preventing their lungs from fully expanding, or is that because they need more oxygen? Or what actually causes them to huff and puff, whereas someone who is not that heavy would not be huffing and puffing?
Well, basically, their heart and their muscles are not accustomed to what we might call normal activity, and therefore it puts a strain on it.
Okay. So when someone is obese, actually obese, not just a little overweight, but obese, what do they do? Because my take on it is they really don't want to exercise because it's too hard. But they have to exercise based on what you just said, I believe.
Well,
is that right?
It is the number one cause of premature death in this country today. Mm-hmm. I didn't make that up. There's a paper that actually had entitled Premature Death. And the number one cause is obesity. Now, true obesity, by the way, means that you're a minimum of 40 pounds over your ideal weight. But actually, the risk begins when you're 5 pounds overweight.
Well, I got to tell you, my ideal weight, I believe, is around 138. And I have approached 141, and I don't like it. I mean, just that little bit.
Vince, number one, two, and three, you are conscientious.
Yeah.
People who are fat are not conscientious. And they're likely not conscientious in more than one way, but especially in taking care of their body.
And there are times when, I'm hungry and I say, you know what, I'm going to eat a smaller portion. And I remember 10 years ago, I would have a dinner plate, with each meal. Now I have a salad plate for each meal because I don't want to look at that plate and say, there needs to be more on it. I want to eat less, and I want to be more active. And that seems to be the way for me to keep my weight somewhat in check. But I'd really like to be 138, and I'm getting close to it. But I got to tell you, I know the cause. Based for me, if I eat wheat, which I know is not on the list to eat, my weight will jump. It'll skyrocket very, very quickly. If I don't, it doesn't. It's as simple as that.
Well, but
for
you
me.
pay attention. You pay attention to details. Yes.
Well,
This is not an insult. It is a compliment. You are one of the more detail-oriented people I know. That's good.
Well, and sometimes I get in a jam. Like if I'm out and normally I don't want to eat out. I don't want to eat at restaurants. Just the thought of it bothers me. The reason it bothers me is I do the dishes. Not always, but, I like to help out around the house doing whatever I can. And I know how I wash pots and pans. I know. And I know how I pre-wash the silverware before it goes in the dishwasher. And I know how I pre-wash, with a scrub brush, the dishes. So I use a scrub brush on the pots and pans first. Then I use a scrub brush with liquid detergent on the silverware. And then I use a scrub brush with detergent on the plates and cups. And then in the dishwasher they go after I've rinsed that detergent off. So I want to make sure all the big chunks are off. Actually, even all the little chunks are off. Actually, they look like you could eat on them before I put them in the dishwasher. And I don't think that happens at restaurants. I don't think that. I also don't think that the way I rinse the pots and pans very, very well and very, very carefully, I don't think that restaurant hydroceramic technicians, the dishwashers, wash the pots and pans the way I do to get the detergent off. And I think eating detergent is like one of the worst things that we can do. So that's why I don't like eating at restaurants. But every once in a while, I get stuck. Like if I go to Springfield and I just plan on being there for trips, for stops 1, 2, and 3, and I actually make stops 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm really starving, and I think, so what is the safest of all these bad things that I can eat? What is the safest? Well, I don't think they wash the lettuce right. I think they might throw it in the sink, and then bacteria is going to be on there. So I don't like that. I don't want to go to McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, or any of those places because that's poison in a wrapper. So maybe I might get a slice of pizza, thinking that might be of all the bad things, but at least maybe it's a little bit less bad. But I might not even be right about that. So that's where the wheat comes in, because I don't think there's much you can buy that doesn't have wheat.
I agree. You're right, all the way, Big Blue.
So what do we do, Dr. Shealy? I mean, aside from remembering to bring whatever it is we want to eat with us, aside from that, what would be, of all these terrible things that are served at restaurants, what would be the safest thing to eat?
Probably soup. At least it's been fairly boiled.
Okay, from a bacteria perspective, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But I'm still worried about the pot, that big soup pot that they cook it in. Do they...
Oh, Vince, I love you.
Well, here's another thing. We have knives, in the house that we use for cooking purposes, and some of them need to be sharpened every once in a while. Everything we have here in our house is old. I mean, the knives are probably 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 years old, and so I have a sharpening stone and I sharpen them. But after I'm done sharpening these knives, I then wash them and then I wipe them many, many times with a wet paper towel to get all those little tiny particles of metal and sharpening stone off the knives. But I'm wondering, at restaurants, do they do that? Do they really?
Yeah, you got to be kidding.
Because I don't want to eat that whether it be stainless steel or whether it be just iron steel or nickel steel or chrome vanadium, whatever it might be, or stainless steel, whatever it might be. I don't want to eat that. So I'm really, really careful. And the more I learn about things, the less I want to trust other people for, things that concern my life. I just don't want to do it. Heck, Dr. Shealy, we can't even eat or drink water at a restaurant, can we?
Well, the water, of course, is the worst thing there because it's loaded with fluoride and chlorine.
Yeah. And I think generally speaking, restaurants aren't happy if you bring in your own water. I don't think they'd
They recognize that you're insulting them.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what we learned is that that because we eat more calories than we burn, we're putting weight on. And does some of the huffing and puffing that the overweight people exhibit, is that also as a result of all this extra mass that they're carrying around that is preventing their lungs from expanding?
You don't increase your arterial and venous supply just because you got more fat. Fat is, less of a blood supply than muscle does. Mm-hmm. So you got the same arteries feeding twice the volume of tissue.
Okay, so with the average American being 40 pounds over their ideal weight, I would think that would probably be a reasonable statement. At least it looks like that to me. I mean, I'm not talking about teenagers, but I'm talking about someone maybe 25, 30 plus in age, 40 pounds over their ideal weight. How do we get them to start shedding that weight?
The only thing that will convince some of them to make a change is a serious illness. Until they are threatened with death or disability, they're not willing to take a change. It's that simple. And that's the majority of them.
Dr. Shealy, I got to tell you, I absolutely believe you're right. And I'll tell you why. I bought a car from a guy in Springfield, Missouri, and he was overweight, and he was huffing and puffing. And he mentioned he had diabetes, and I said, I'll tell you what, on Monday, between 9 and 11 a.m. Central Time, you can give us a call. Here's the number. Give us a call, and Dr. Shealy will help you. He'll give you advice and counsel. There's no charge. And I'll let you talk as long as you have questions. There's no time limit. It's not 7 minutes like at a doctor's office. And we're on for 2 hours, and you can ask him all your questions. I just ask that you write them down, make sure that you have all your notes in front of you, ask him all the questions you want, and he will help you. No question about it. And I said, by the way, do you eat bread? Oh, yeah. I love bread. I love bread. I said, well, I said, I can tell you what Dr. Shealy is probably going to say. He's going to tell you to knock off the bread because it's doing this to you, and it's feeding your diabetes, and it's just not working. So that's going to be the first thing that he's going to tell you. And you know what the guy said to me? He said, I love my bread. I don't think I can do it. I've got to have it. Got to have it. So he's got to have.
And bread is one of the greatest contributors, but just more calories than you're burning up is the big thing.
All right. Yep. We'll be right back. Dr. Norm Shealy, normshealy.com. Class Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, and let me give you his telephone number of the clinic. So if you'd like to make an appointment and meet Dr. Shealy in person or have a telephone conversation with Dr. Shealy, 417-351-5221. 417-351-5221. That's the telephone number for Dr. Shealy's clinic in Springfield, Missouri. And we're in the Central Time Zone. So normal business hours, you can give it a call if you'd like and make an appointment to talk with or see Dr. Norman Shealy. Dr. Shealy, we were talking about obesity and weight loss. And I was reading an article that says that a cup of coffee a day stimulates weight loss. And it says that coffee is found to increase the activity of brown fat in this article that I was reading, which burns sugar and fat. And caffeine is what is believed to be that trigger. Is that something that you have found in your study, research, and experience?
I mean, it does speed up metabolism. It raises the metabolic rate.
Okay.
So these people need to drink 2 gallons a day, I think.
Well, okay. So, Dr. Shealy, here's what I know about automobiles. There are young people who buy these diesel pickup trucks, whether it be Chevy, Ford, or Chrysler product, and they put these modification chips, programming modification chips on their computer for their fuel injection system. And the idea is, let's slam more fuel into the combustion. And what happens is, you've seen this, they accelerate from a traffic light and all this black smoke comes out. Well, I think that's the coolest thing. Well, it's burning more fuel than they need, and the black smoke is unburned fuel. So the question, and I've cautioned young people by saying, look, I don't think you understand that by making more horsepower and more torque and stressing your engine, it will wear out faster. And they absolutely do. The engines wear out faster. So my question for you, Dr. Shealy, is, by overstimulating, way too much coffee, energy drinks, those kinds of things that keep people up, way past normal hours when they should be sleeping, running harder, faster, and all that, does that cause the body to wear out the same way it causes a mechanical engine to wear out prematurely?
Yes, no question about it.
Okay. And can that wear that has occurred in a body, can that be recovered from? Can it be reset? Once it's burned?
In general, I base this upon smoking. Theoretically, if you give up smoking before you have a serious illness, within 10 years, your risks are the same as someone who never smoked. So if you can recover within 10 years from the benefits, the harm of cigarettes or smoking, then I think you probably can do that for almost everything. On the other hand, most people don't begin to change their habits until they've already had a bad illness. It somehow shocks them into making the changes they should have made with common sense.
It's kind of like those funerals that we end up attending without lots of warning, and we go, oh, wow, and what did that person die from? And it looks like we're doing that too. Maybe we ought to knock that off. I think that's kind of what you're saying. Gene in Kentucky, welcome. You're on with Dr. Norm Shealy. Hey, Gene, you're on the air.
We take coolers with us because we buy stuff, and we also take our food because I don't eat it out. And I called Humana, and I didn't rant and rave and told them to quit calling me about the home visits. So I calmly told them to quit calling me and quit writing me. So instead of screaming at them. Okay, can you hear me?
So you're saying that your health insurance company is calling you and bothering you about, and what kind of questions are they asking you? And you said it's Humana.
Well, we talked about this the other day with when Richard
right,
Allen
but Dr.
Miller
Shealy wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Shealy doesn't know about it, so we need to bring him up to speed.
Okay.
All right, so I'll tell you what. We're going into the bottom of the hour commercials. When we come back, would you bring Dr. Shealy up to speed, because you have been, we might say, harassed by your health insurance provider, and you don't like it. And share with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us about that, and then ask your questions. We'll be right back. Class, Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, normshealy.com, and Jean in Kentucky's with us, and she was mentioning Humana, and they were kind of driving her crazy, calling her on the phone. And Jean, please continue and then ask your questions.
Yes, they haven't called a lot, but they send mostly letters, and the last letter again it said, we appreciate that last year you took the time to talk with a member of Humana's home management team. We understand that you were not ready for a home visit. Well, like I told Vincent, I started screaming and yelling at him because I told him, quit calling me. I said, I've called y'all before when y'all called me, and I even wrote that, I think, a little note and said, quit calling me. I don't need a nanny. And so they sent this letter, sent one to my husband, too. So I had a number to call in the back, and I called this morning after 9, calmly said, do not call me again. Do not send me any letters. I don't need a nanny, so please leave me alone. Thank you. I calmly said it.
Okay. Dr. Shealy, any questions about insurance companies calling because they call here and they want to sell us all kinds of things that they think that we should buy?
Well, to me, they're part of the worst mafia in the country.
Home assessment, yeah.
I wrote a book over 30 years ago called Third Party Rape. And the third party is not just the insurance mafia. It's the insurance mafia, the government, the hospitals, the pharmaco mafia, and the insurance mafia, and the legal system all working together against us.
Dr. Shealy, if one of our class wants to buy your book, what's the best way to buy your book by Dr. Norman Shealy, Third Party Rape? Where's
I think we have a few copies on my website, but they could probably get it on Amazon easier.
Okay. There you go, class. Jean, what else did you want to ask Dr. Shealy?
Okay. I've been on thyroid medication since my 20s, and I'm 70-something. It seems to be doing okay. I have to go every 6 months, get a blood test, and see that it's working. And of course, they keep trying to talk me into going to Synthroid, and I'm taking Armor for quite a few years now. It seems to be working. But in the last few years, go ahead.
I totally agree with you. Armor is 10 times better than Synthroid.
Mm-hmm. Because I heard about it years ago, and I've been taking it probably at least 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know. I haven't kept track of it. But I really don't like taking anything.
Synthroid, is maybe half as good and 3 times as expensive, but other than that.
Yeah, I'll just pay for it myself because it's not that terribly bad. But anyway, in the last couple of years, I have lost probably 30 pounds, and I can't gain it back. I think, and my husband thinks that I'm not getting enough sleep because I get to bed late, I eat late.
Now, tell me how tall you are.
Probably about 5'6".
And how much do you weigh?
Probably a little over 100 pounds.
You are thin. There's no question about it.
And I don't like being bone racked.
Yeah. I would say, in your case, you could afford to eat some carbohydrate.
I eat a lot.
I'm sorry, you eat a lot.
I eat a lot all the time.
And that also means that you're not getting the most out of it. That is, you're somehow not perhaps digesting it properly. You try just plain old taking digestive enzymes with each meal.
I've taken some probiotics and all that.
Yeah, probiotics. But what about digestive enzymes like amylase and proteinase and lipase?
I probably have in the past. I take a lot of supplements off and on. But mostly I think it's the lack of sleep. My husband thinks I'm not getting enough sleep for my body to recuperate.
And how much sleep are you getting?
Anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Oh, your husband's right.
Yeah, I know.
You need to, I would at least consider time-release melatonin.
Oh, I don't need to help sleep. I just got to make myself not worry about what's going on.
You may not think you need it, but the average person who sleeps 6 hours or less functions at the level of slightly drunk.
Yeah.
A minimum healthy sleep is 7 hours a night.
Oh, I know I need it, but my mind won't let me rest if I get up to go to the bathroom.
Then you need to take time-release melatonin, and if that doesn't work, theanine, Theanine. If that doesn't work, valerian root. There are many safe alternatives, but you need to quiet your mind in order to sleep.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do because I'm hyperactive. I mean, I'm always thinking about things to do, what I need to do.
Again, I tell you, the only way you're going to have a normal weight is to sleep adequately.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, well, the problem can be solved if you're willing to take healthy supplements to help you sleep.
Yeah.
The time has come, the walrus said, to sleep.
Yeah, I know. I just need to make myself not think about what needs to be done and just go back to sleep.
I agree with you, absolutely. You should practice autogenic training.
Yeah.
If you're willing to practice autogenic training, it'll help you go to sleep and quit the idle chatter.
Yeah. No, I don't have any trouble getting to sleep. It's when I have to get up to go urinate in the morning that But my brain starts thinking about, like, I got my chickens back now, so I need to go let them out. And then I'll start worrying about what's out in the yard, and then before I know it, I'm doing this and that and that and this. But whatever. I know I'm destroying my own health, and I'm eating too much junk, even though I eat good stuff too. But I also got glaucoma. I developed that several years ago, and I take Lumigan in my eye drops, and then I had a little surgery on my left eye, that tubular, whatever it is, that's supposed to.
Oh, yeah. Well, it may interfere with your, it's possible that it's a little bit of a stimulant that could interfere with your sleep, but you need to sleep.
Yeah, I know. I just make myself do it's another story. But I just wanted to touch base if you thought Armor was good, or if you think I should go on something called heard Dr. Jennifer talk about thyroid gold, or if that would help me. I don't know what they did in my thyroid years ago when I had an uptake scan. That was back years ago. I don't think it could have destroyed it or what it is, but I know that my tests are normal when I'm on the thyroid, and I haven't really been off of it that much. But I really don't like taking any medication. I don't like taking an aspirin.
Well, the time has come to take care of yourself.
I know. But I feel
Jean,
okay. That's the problem. I do feel okay, though.
No, you're obviously, you may feel okay, but your body says you're not.
I know. I look like heck, but I feel great. Okay.
Jean, before you go, did you say that you need to eat better?
No, I eat plenty. I eat good and I eat bad.
Well, I meant the quality of the food, not the quantity.
No, I eat good food too. I eat vegetables, like I got kale out, and I got squash and all that. And I buy it and I grow it, and I try to eat organic when I can find it. How
about sodas and coffees and teas?
No, I don't drink that, but I just eat a lot of candy.
That's junk.
I know it is. I know I used to make it myself, granolas and all that. I don't eat gluten, but my downfall is the sweets. You know what I mean?
Okay, what kind of sweets? I'm just interested.
Oh, my gosh. I go to the salvage store and they got all that good stuff. I try not to buy too much.
Well, wait.
Chocolate.
Good stuff.
I mean the organic
chocolate?
Stuff. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Chocolate, cookies.
Oh.
Mostly
Cookies?
chocolate with nuts.
Huh? And
I know
when you say good stuff, are you being facetious?
No, I meant the better quality stuff. I mean,
okay.
not with the high fructose corn syrup and the imitation vanilla and all that. I usually buy the organic stuff, But I try not to buy too much because it just calls to me, you know what I mean? So I finish it all.
Okay. Well, here's something that I've learned, and it's kind of simple. We have several people who live in our home, and whenever they go out to buy food or go shopping, they ask, does anybody need anything? And they want to make sure they make the trip count. And so whenever I see these lists from 2 days before, the day before, I always write on the list, no sugar, no candy, no soda, things like that. Multiple places so you can't miss it. Okay? And then if I see something on the list that has, that's soda or sugary or junk food, they get crossed off the list. So the idea is, and it's exactly what you said, if it's there, you can eat it. But if it's not there at your house, it's hard to eat it.
I know.
So don't buy it.
I know.
That's my advice.
I tell myself, stay out of the salvage stores. That's where I get it, because I get it so cheap, you know what I mean? They got it so cheap.
Well, okay. Well, Dr. Shealy, I don't think thinks sugar's all that good. And I believe Dr. Shealy has said it's not even a food.
No, it's a very addictive substance.
Right. So you can, if the reason you go to the salvage store is to buy that stuff, don't go.
Some stuff, yeah. Some of it, too, yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. You probably get other things, yes. I understand that. But don't go down that aisle and just tell yourself no. And that way, now, you might go rooting around your house looking for it.
Oh, yes.
but if it's not there, you can't eat it.
I know. They say if you wait 10 minutes, you still want it, I've heard that tale, too.
Well, all right. How about this? Let's ask Dr. Shealy. Dr. Shealy, when someone is overweight, which is not the case with Jean in Kentucky, but when someone's overweight and they're just craving to slam down more calories that they don't need,
I would tell her to check her to get some Gymnema, Gymnema, and open the capsule and put a little bit on her tongue 3 or 4 times a day. It'll block her ability to taste sweet.
Gymnema, Gene. What do you think?
I guess, but also I've lost some molars, and it's hard to chew too, so that don't help my digestive either. You know what I mean? When I can't chew well, I meant to bring that part up too, because I've lost some teeth, unfortunately, cavities, you know.
Well, it sounds like the last thing you need to do is eat more sweets.
I know. Nobody could tell myself more than that. I'm not.
It goes along with your not sleeping adequately. Those are your 2 bad habits.
I know.
Well, the time has come to
I
change.
preached this to my husband. Told him he should give me like 30 or 40 pounds he needs to lose. I want at least 20 of it back, you know. So I can get back to my normal 120 something. That'd be great. So whatever.
Gene, give us a call in a couple of weeks, please, and tell us how it worked out for you not buying those things that you crave. And you can be a great example for others who have not been able to figure it out. But so why don't you be our test case? Just don't buy it and tell us how long it took you to go to stop looking around your house for it.
Well, I still got quite a bit of it I bought the other day, so I guess I need to throw it down the hill.
There you go.
Skunks get it. Okay, y'all. Right. Y'all take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gene.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Dr. Shealy, it sounds like, someone who smokes and says, well, look, I just bought this carton, so, I hate to throw all that money away, so let me just smoke them.
Well, funny thinking does not excuse junk thinking.
Yeah. Clint in Iowa. Clint, welcome.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today?
Very well. Clint, you got a question for Norm?
No, I actually had a comment in regards to Jean and her glaucoma, if I may.
Great.
I will hang on till the break is over.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for calling, Clint. We're going to be coming back right after these few short commercial announcements, which are getting shorter since we got rid of 6 of our commercials right here on USA Prepares. We'll be right back. Thank you. Class Dr. Norm Shealy's with us, and Clint in Iowa's with us. Clint, you wanted to talk about glaucoma.
Yeah. My wife was having an issue with the pressure behind her eyes building. And I'll just tell you the numbers that I'm referring to. The pressure was like 27 and 28 behind her eyes. And their remedy was to drill holes in her eyes to relieve the pressure. And I kind of said, that's not going to happen. I understand that it probably will relieve the pressure, but it doesn't fix why the pressure was there in the first place, in my opinion. I'm kind of a mechanic by trade, so I want to figure out and diagnose what the problem is and then take care of it that way. So what I did a little research on my own, and I came up with CBD oil. So my wife started taking that. 6 months later, the pressure went down to below 20 to 18 and 19. And a year or so later, now her pressures are 12 and 13, which I believe is somewhere in the normal range. So something as simple as nature took care of her problem. And I just thought I would share that. Maybe Jean might be listening, and maybe she could do something that might help her.
I appreciate that. As long as it's legal, I'm totally in favor of trying it.
This is not marijuana. This is hemp oil.
I know. That's what I mean. Most states now, I believe, allow the CBD oil.
Yeah, as long as it's below the 0.03 deal. So, and
Clint,
if you like Vincent, I would be happy to share the product with you in an email if you want to give me an email address so you have it.
I'll tell you what you can do. I've been inundated by trolls threatening me, so I shut down our website. I shut down my phone number.
Sure, I've
pretty
been
much
listening to that. So.
Yeah, I've had it with these degenerates, but I'll tell you what you can do.
Sure.
When we're done, you can stay on the line, and Alex, our engineer, we'll take your phone number, and I'll call you. How about that?
Sure.
Okay.
That would be fun.
And Clint, I've got a couple of quick questions for you.
Sure.
I've been taking CBD oil as well, and I only take a few drops of it every day. Are you talking about a minute dose like that as well?
Yeah. I take it as well. I take about 7 drops under the tongue every morning. And it doesn't react with me the same way that it did with my wife as far as some other she got it. I got it for her eyes, but she takes it because of she has anxiety and such from work and stress at work, so that seems to help her with that quite a bit. So she takes probably that 7 drops maybe 2 or 3 times a day, whereas I only take it just in the morning. Now, maybe it doesn't affect me the same way it does her, but I believe the way it helped her, I have to believe it's doing me some good, so that's why I take it as well.
Clint, have you tried anything else that might cloud your study with the CBD oil? Has she made any other changes, or is this the only change?
That was the only thing she did.
So you're 100% confident that it's the CBD oil and not diet, or not, using the cell phone less, or less stress, or, other inputs that might...
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this took care of her problem.
Now, I'm not challenging you. I'm just trying to
anything in the lifestyle of what we were doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I've got to tell you, I think there is something to that. I really believe that, because I've been taking it, and I've got a couple masses on my lungs that are scar tissue, and I've had the scans, and I went to the university hospital, and they said, "How you doing?" I said, "I think I'm doing much better." And they said, "Well, your scar tissue is reduced 25%. And they couldn't believe it. They could not believe that I'm not getting worse. I'm actually getting better. And they proved it. And they wanted to know, so what was I doing? And I told them that in my case, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm using colloidal silver inhalation with a nebulizer. I'm using CBD oil, carbon 60. Massive doses of vitamin C, which Dr. Shealy says is okay. I'm using Dr. Shealy's youth formula with MSM. I'm using Dr. Shealy's vitamins. And I'm eating as well as I can, avoiding things like sugar and candy and sodas and excessive coffee and teas and excessive caffeine. Getting lots of exercise. And I'm doing better. Whereas a couple of years ago, I couldn't get off the couch. And I mean literally. I would do the broadcast and collapse. And now I'm back to being a farmer. And of course, the CBD oil as well. So those are my thoughts. Clint, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, when the break is over, I had one more thing in regards to the CBD oil, if that's all right.
Sure, that'd be fine. Alex, would you please get Clinton's, I believe it's Clinton's number, and I'll call him back after the broadcast. Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of the USA Prepares. Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. NormShealy.com, NormShealy.com. And Clint is with us. Clint in Iowa is back. Clint, you had a couple of things that you wanted to add to the discussion. Please continue.
Well, in regards to not only was she having an issue with the eyes, she was also on that drug Lorazepam or Pam or...
Oh, yeah.
I'm not pronouncing it properly at the end there, but...
Lorazepam. That's close enough.
Well, she had she had a bout of an anxiety attack where I had to bring her to the hospital 2 years ago. And all the psychologist woman there, all she wanted to do was just give her drugs. And I sat in the hallway, and I'm fuming about this whole thing. And she come out and says, "Why are you so against this?" And I says, "Are you kidding me? Do you know what that stuff is made out of? Why would you give that to anybody? So, long story short, she ended up taking a very small dosage of sorts, and as well as everybody knows, people get hooked on that crap. So we didn't really argue about it. My wife and I, we discussed it, and she didn't want it, but it was helping her with what she was dealing with. And that part's irrelevant. That's a different story. It doesn't matter. The fact that she was dealing with something and this helped her fine. I said, we got to get you off this crap. Got to. It's not healthy, and you know what this stuff is. She agreed. So in regards to the CBD oil, that helped her get off that as well.
Very interesting that you're saying this, Clint, because one of the things I wanted to talk to Dr. Shealy about today was it's my impression that young people absolutely cannot cope. They can't cope with just the daily events that happen. Oh, one of their friends stops talking to them. So these young people melt down as a result of their friends having a bad day. Or their car won't start.
Damn deal. You know, I have taught my kids to take care of themselves first. You take care of yourself first. Everything around you will take care of it on its own, however it can happen. Now, I talk with my children at least 2 or 3 times a week, and maybe a little less depending upon which kid it is. But when they have a problem, we have a relationship where they will call us, and they will talk to us, and they will ask us questions about how to possibly deal with something. So I've done something correct there to at least they communicate with me, and I know that we help them when they have issues, and we don't have to have our kids turn them upside down and oh my God, Patty fell off of her bicycle today, and now she has a skin knee, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. I mean, seriously, give me a break.
And why is it that, Dr. Shealy, why do you think that young people melt down over just silly things, non-important things, whereas, let's say the baby boomer generation didn't, and their parents didn't. Heck, their parents were in World War II. They were shot at with mortars. They were in combat with bayonets. I mean, it was pretty rough.
I think it's the problem of dumb phones. Simple, straightforward. They've spent too much time on a stupid, dangerous cell phone, and not enough time with common day-to-day social interaction.
Do you think, Dr. Shealy, that the young people are, I'm going to use the word lonely. Do you think that they're literally lonely, and because they're lonely, they look to their cell phone as if it's a companion to replace, I'm serious.
It doesn't talk back to them.
Yeah. To replace the interaction we used to have at the kitchen table. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Interaction as a family. Everybody's going his own way now because everybody's important. Everybody's me first. And I'm using everybody kind of like in a generic sense. But we don't communicate with each other. We don't have normal, old-fashioned 1950s, 1960s relationships. Do you think that it could be this loneliness that these young people are literally, I don't mean figuratively, I mean literally reaching out for help, but they don't know that they're doing that. They don't know they're reaching out for help, and they're looking to the phone as if it's a companion because they miss that companionship, and they are literally lonely. Could that be the center of this problem?
Well, it certainly could be part of it, to say the least. And let's face it, it totally destroys what I would call the frontal lobes, the most important part of your brain, the interaction, the place that, relates you to everything in the world.
Mm-hmm. And does that explain why young people don't know how to estimate because they've destroyed their frontal lobe?
Yeah.
And I mean literally. You can't ask a young people today who uses a cell phone constantly.
It's like Common Core math that does that. Jeez.
Well, that's another part of it, right? Yeah. Clint, I noticed something about you. You are extremely calm, deliberate, collected. What do you attribute that to?
Well, thank you for saying that, because I'm actually quite nervous here on the other end of the phone line. I don't know, as far as all of that sort of thing. I try to spend a little time inside of my brain to make sure I try to prepare what I say before it comes out of my mouth as best as I can. But sometimes it doesn't come across that way, I understand.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Clint?
I think if these young people, yeah, sure, they got that little flat screen that talks to them and stuff like that. But I agree with the doctor and yourself about cell phones to just be thrown away. I hate them myself, but somehow it has to become a part of our life for some reasons, but not for the reasons that they have them. Sorry, I'm rambling here a minute.
Well, I was helping a dear friend. Oh, by the way, Alan in Indiana will be with you in just a minute. I was helping a dear friend rent a U-Haul device. And so I called to get information. And every time I call them, every single time, they say the same thing. And what's your cell phone number? And every time I say the same thing to them, I don't have one. But it's now they want the cell phone number. Our telephone company wants a cell phone number. Why is our telephone company asking for our cell phone number? Why? I don't get it. But that seems to be what they want. And when I say I don't have one, they look at me, or their reaction is, you're the only guy on the planet, or maybe the galaxy, that doesn't have one. And actually, I think it's a badge of honor. And where does this come from? Dr. Shealy said the coolest thing. His expression is, and Dr. Shealy, I'm going to try to quote you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe your quote is, quote, "I don't want to be on tap 24/7, end quote." Is that right?
You got it. That's a small part of the whole.
Okay, Clint. Thanks so much.
Hey, just one more thing before I go.
Yeah,
well, actually, two things. One, in regards to the children of this generation. If they knew what it was like to be poor, I mean, really poor, not to the point where they got to eat out of garbage cans, mind you, but if they knew what it was like to be poor and had to survive on their own, they would have a little bit of an awakening of something. And the other comment I would like to say, and this is to Ted of the GCN people, if I have to hear one more time about proper blood flow to the proper area, I don't know why that has to be on the network being advertised. And I know you don't have any control over that, but for crying out loud, if you got a problem like that, you don't need a commercial to tell you that. So, with that,
well, I'll tell you what. I think you just told them what your thoughts are. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that our engineers pay attention to the broadcast as much as they can, and they relay to the boss, and the boss is Ted. His last name is Anderson. Ted Anderson is the owner of Genesis Communications Network. I serve at his pleasure. Okay, he and this is very interesting. So I'll just share this with Dr. Shealy and Clint and the rest of the class. All the broadcasts except for 4 on GCN pay to be on the air. USA Prepares and 3 others do not. And I don't know who the other 3 are. But Ted Anderson thinks that what we do is worthy of doing, so he doesn't charge us. Everyone else pays to be on the network. And that's the way radio is today. So if you're listening to radio in the city, whatever city it may be, and you hear that commercial about, the home builder's hour or the home repair hour or whatever that hour is on Saturdays or Sundays, sometimes during the week, those are paid for broadcasts. So I just want to let you know that does happen. So radio has been transformed from the time in the 50s and the 60s and even before that, where people were hired to be broadcasters, talkers behind the microphone, sharing things. And now talkers pay to be behind the microphone. So that has been a major transformation in radio, but we are not part of that. USA Prepares, all of us, Dr. Shealy and all the other instructors, including myself, we're all volunteers. So I had 6 minutes of commercials that I owned, USA Prepares owned, and I turned them in. I said, I don't want them. I want more talk time. And Genesis Communications Network, the chief engineer, the radio engineer, was able to unprogram 6 minutes of commercial time that was ours to go back to talk time. So what we've decided is we want fewer commercials, and we want more talk time. And the very first commercial that, when I was on a radio station called KWTO, same radio station that Dr. Shealy is on in Springfield, Missouri, day number 1, there was an ED commercial. My very first broadcast, and I hear this ED commercial, and I went ballistic. And during the break, I ran into the front office and said, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on? What's with this commercial? And their reaction in the front office was, who are you? You just got here. Who are you to tell us what's going on? Here, you haven't been on for an hour yet. But, yeah, I agree with you.
Well, I understand how the commercials go and that sort of thing, and I applaud the fact that they were able to give you more talking time. That's very admirable on both sides. But those types of commercials, I just don't see any place for them, whether they're on the television or on the radio anywhere. That's just
well, pretty soon we'll be hearing about rainbow commercials, right?
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and Alan in Indiana. Thank you for patiently waiting. You're on with Dr. Norm Shealy.
Yes. How are you guys today?
Very well.
I want to ask Dr. Shealy, when I go for a doctor's examination, they usually take a blood test and looks at the sheet of paper and says, what should I do a blood test on you about? And I know that the last time I was there, I asked for testosterone test, which usually should be about 250 on the chart.
Or better.
And then vitamin D, I think vitamin D3 should be about 50. What else could I add to the chart?
The other thing I think everybody should have is a hemoglobin A1C. Hemoglobin A1C.
Okay.
And a high sensitivity C reactive protein. High sensitivity C reactive protein.
Okay. And on those two tests, what should be an average or a...
Well, the hemoglobin A1C, you would like it below 5.4. On the high sensitivity C reactive protein, you would like it below 1.
Okay. All right. I'll ask for those two tests. How about like minerals?
In general, the most important test for most people is a heavy metal toxicity rather than no minerals. Very few people, unless they're on drugs, are low in potassium, sodium, chloride, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Although usually that's part of a complete metabolic profile as part of the sort of general screening test.
Okay. All right. That was the information I was looking for.
Great. Thank you.
Alan, I've got a quick comment. Are you going to your medical doctor for these tests, or are you going to a walk-in clinic like any lab test now?
No, VA, usually. Medical doctor. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And when you were asking about minerals, were you asking about tests for metals in your body, or were you asking should you consume supplements with minerals?
Should I consume supplements?
Okay. Dr. Shealy, what are your thoughts about supplementation for
I think 100%
minerals?
of people should, because of today's toxicity in the world, should be taking a good multivitamin mineral like Dr. Shealy's Essential, my youth formula, and at least astaxanthin, the best vitamin A formula. You know, we just need more of it because of so much poison in the air and water.
Okay. I'll have to check out your website on those.
Alan, this is not a commercial, but this is an endorsement. I know Dr. Shealy very, very well. And I've spent, as a matter of fact, Dr. Shealy was our very first full-time instructor here, senior instructor here at USA Prepares. And he and I have been broadcasting together 2 hours a week for about 8 years. We've been to each other's homes, events, and he's been to the expos. And as a matter of fact, he was the man who got me to have less anxiety very early in broadcasting, because one thing that I was not interested in doing was public speaking, and I avoided that in grammar school, high school, and at the university level. And so he helped me overcome all that anxiety. So we have been buddies for 8 years. And I have been to his clinic a number of times for different things, research and some of his studies, as well as that's where I buy supplements. And the two supplements that I would like to recommend that you consider is Dr. Shealy's Youth Formula. It's his proprietary blend for vitamin C. I take it every day. And for the multivitamin, it's Dr. Shealy's Essentials. And those are what I consume every day. So I suggest you consider that, and you go to his website, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. And that's not a commercial. That's an endorsement. And I take them. Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. David in Illinois, thank you for patiently waiting. Welcome.
How you doing? I'm surprised I was able to actually call this time. I haven't been able to call you ever since the last time I was on your show.
What happened? What happened?
Ever since I've been on the last time, all my phone numbers, internet, and everything goes down when your show's up, and I have to listen to it when you're off the air.
Oh my!
Wow!
You know, I've gotten
yeah.
I've gotten comments.
My wife freaks out about it. Yeah.
I know. I've talked to your wife off the air, and I'm sorry that's happening to you. But I've heard other instructors say to me, "Hey, did you get my call? Did you get my message? I don't get your emails. What's going on?" So yes, and also, we get calls from all over the world, and yet if you look at our YouTube count, it looks like nobody's listening to USA Prepares. It's quite interesting. And not only that, but it'll show maybe 30 people have listened to USA Prepares, and they'll put 9 commercials for 30 people listening. So obviously there's something wrong with these numbers. The numbers have got to be way, way, way wrong.
Well, I'll comment on something real quick before I ask a question. I'm sorry I got off a little track, but now when I've been looking on YouTube and I've been looking at the comments, and I'll go back, and a bunch of the comments will be gone. So I'm like,
I saw the same thing. I saw over 30 comments one day, and then I went back, and they were gone. You're absolutely right, no question about it. So they've got a special group of sanitizers who when somebody says something nice about us, those comments seem to disappear. Amazing. Is that what you're talking about?
Some positive things happen since I've been on the show. I think they're trying to calm me down a little bit, but that's not going to happen. But anyways, what I was really going to ask you about, the doctor, is we got your books, a few of your books, and we've been reading them, trying to read them together. But we started using oregano oil. I've been trying that. How often can you place that on the skin? Hello?
Dr. Shealy, are you there?
I missed something.
David was asking about placing oregano oil on the skin.
Well, I think it's safe and has some benefits. It's not something on my top list, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'll tell you what I'm having a problem with. Now, they think it has to do with what happened from the North Carolina Marine Base, because in Stars and Stripes, there's articles where kids were born there and other soldiers, and you get all these sores all over your chest. Now, they've been injecting me with them with medicine. They won't tell me what it is or what they're injecting me with, so I stopped that because it doesn't go away. And they actually said they would. The other option was to cut them all out. Well, I've had so much work done. I do not want anything else unless I have to have it done, because I've seen the pictures where some of them people from that base, and it looks like craters on their chest. I mean, I feel bad for them. So I did get some oregano oil because we heard somebody else talking about on your show, on Vincent's show a while back, where he used oregano oil for a dental problem. I'm like, okay, if you can use it in the mouth, maybe you can use it on your skin. And I only use it for a few days, twice a day, and it started taking it away. I mean, so I'm just curious how often, or what would something be better to use, more beneficial?
Basically, I don't have an answer to that. It sounds to me as if there's an underlying weakness of the immune system. But if the oregano oil is working, I don't have anything better necessarily. Does it itch or just...
No.
No. Well, if that doesn't work, the only other thing I could recommend is to try EMU oil.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go back and listen to that so I can have her write that down, because I won't be able to see it, and if I don't see it, I don't remember it. But now I do have some, maybe some advice for some of your other callers today. They were calling about the glaucoma situation.
Yeah.
If they do not keep track, glaucoma is such a quiet situation to have. You don't notice it sometimes until it's too late, or until you go to have your checkup. It will attack your peripheral vision first. And so therefore, that's why it's harder to notice. And when them cells and nerves are damaged, there is no recourse to get them back. Once they're gone, they're gone. Once they're dead, they're dead. So if you're starting to have, if they have glaucoma spikes, it's great that the CBD is working, but with it fluctuating up to 18 and go, possibly going over that, that's something if they're only going in like they recommend once a year, I would go twice just to have it checked, just to be on the safe side. Once that happens, it's gone. And when he said he didn't have the surgery for his wife, I wouldn't have had that surgery either. I mean, I would not have had that done either. There's a lot of older medications that would have worked that's been out for a long time. They should have tried that first. I mean, what we do is we make sure if we ever have medicines like those, we make the doctors give us the oldest stuff that we can research to know what side effects, because they're always trying to give you everything new, and you're the guinea pig more than anything else. So they find out what the new side effects are on the patients, in my opinion, of who they prescribe the medicines to. Now, one other thing, the lady that had she said she had a tube placed in her eye, the lady from Kansas or Kentucky. I had one of those done. I was one of the research where they, on the study program, when I had mine put in, it's called a multineal implant, if that's what she had done. And I woke up, I woke up in the hospital and they said, we're at war. That was the first Gulf War. It's been working perfectly with no eye medicine since then. And as long as they done it good, she won't have a problem. And a lot of your people that are calling, if you're going to have a cataract surgery, that's usually, a lot of times you're going to have a glaucoma problem. It's going to be after they do a procedure afterwards. So they should check more often if you have one of those procedures done. So.
You're talking about checking pressure, is that what you're saying?
Yes, your glaucoma pressure. Usually anytime you have a procedure done on your eye, just a simple, invasive, what they have to do, it usually creates and causes the glaucoma to come on after that.
David, I have a comment about the oregano oil. Mrs. Finelli swears by oregano oil, and if she feels a cold coming on, she will take a few drops of oregano, and this is one of the times when she'll eat bread. She'll take a small piece of bread, a very small piece, like something that you could put between your two fingers, and she'll put a few drops of oregano oil on it, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5, and she'll put it in her mouth and chew it for, 30, 45 seconds, and then swallow it. And she'll do that a few times when she feels a cold coming on, and it seems to knock it right out. Dr. Shealy, have you had experience doing that?
I have not. I have not used that particular stuff.
Okay. We're talking about oil of oregano.
Yeah.
And something else I wanted to ask. For someone who has psoriasis, would a treatment topical on the skin of oil of oregano be recommended or not? I imagine it might burn.
It might. And, it is an autoimmune disease. And I think emu oil would be safe. And probably something called amlactin, AMLACTIN, which is a normal skin lotion, would be safe.
Okay. David, I have a question for you. You mentioned a Marine base in North Carolina. Are you talking about Camp Lejeune?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
if you look up Stars and Stripes, you'll probably find, I had the articles on when my dad was sending them to me, and I have access to his email, and his email has been kind of spotty too, so, I couldn't find the article. I found where the links were, but all his information was kind of taken off there, so I was trying to find that, but then you took your website down, so I wouldn't have been able to send it to you anyways. But you can see pictures. There's pictures of people that were born from that base as well as soldiers, and they actually cut these things out of their chest. They just start cutting them out. Well, how do you walk around without, I mean, you really feel bad about yourself then, and when they just start cutting, that's
David,
the first step.
I lost a dear friend who was stationed.
Oh, did he pass?
At Camp Lejeune. And let me spell that, class. Lejeune. Lejeune. And there was a massive contamination of the water supply at Camp Lejeune through the toxic disposal or improper disposal of weapons of war, as I understand it. And those who drank the water have all kinds of diseases, bone cancer, bladder cancer, every kind of cancer you can think of, from drinking the water while they were stationed at Camp Lejeune. That's a 246 square mile military training facility in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So
Not just drinking the water.
Even washing in it.
Just bathing in it for, I think they said, up to 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the man who was my dear friend who we just lost was going to come on the radio and just expose the whole thing from his perspective. His buddies had it. He had it. It's a massive problem. I won't say it's a cover-up, but it's not really even discussed. Have you found that this is sort of covered up? This?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mother lost. She had a miscarriage there after 5 months right before me. They knew about this. My father was an MP there. They were ordered to tape up all the water fountains and everything when they were there. They told them what it was caused from. So that was back in the 60s, mid-60s. So, yeah, they knew a lot. They knew they had a problem. Where it went to the point where they had to start taping up water fountains. So they may not have known how much of an extent of a problem they had at that time. You'll never know. I'll never know. But they obviously knew they had a problem.
Yeah. David, anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, maybe I'll be able to call in instead of listening then if they leave me alone for a while. It's one thing if it's just one phone line and the internet goes down, but when all my numbers go down all at the same time. Thank you.
David, it's always great to hear your voice, and please give our best to your wife. Thanks so much for calling in. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. Class Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy, one of the few things that we used to buy at Sam's Club in Springfield, Missouri, was their dishwasher powdered detergent. And I went to buy it, and I've been trying to buy it since December, and I found out that they don't have it. It's always out of stock. And then I looked on the internet, like, what's up? And I found out that there are 17 states that have banned the use of phosphate in products. So my question to you, is it bigger than that? What I've found is that if you have an automatic dishwasher, the kind that you'd wash dishes with in the kitchen, they have these new pellets that you drop into the detergent door, and one size fits all. So it's got a surface tension reducing agent, and it has the detergent, and it's all in one pellet, and it's so easy. But I don't want to do that. I actually, depending on what I'm washing in the dishwasher, I may want more or less of this dishwashing detergent powder. So my question is there something that happened in medicine that people are abusing dishwashing detergent that has caused it to go off the market? Is there anything that you know of that might have caused that? Because I can't find anything.
In general, we get more than enough phosphorus if we eat, period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, part of the excess of phosphorus is the bottled drink business, Coca-Cola and all of those junk so-called soft drinks are loaded with phosphoric acid. Whether it's related to that, I don't know. In general, if it's government, it's crap.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, here's something that's kind of gross. So there's a story on the Daily Mail, and headline reads, quote, weightlifting teenager swaps normal meat for insects and says his new diet of grasshopper burritos, cricket cereal, and grilled scorpions has made him twice as strong. And he says he's never felt better, and his weights are almost double, for weightlifting in the gym. Now, he's an 18-year-old guy, and so he's been following a vegan diet, but he's supplemented his vegan diet with these grasshoppers, crickets, and ants. Dr. Shealy, what are your thoughts
I have news
about?
for him. He's not a vegan.
Yeah.
Insects are part of the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know one of our instructors has been looking into, his name is Andy Gibbs, and he's been looking into insects as a protein source for pet food. Now, our dogs will see flies and bugs and bees, and they'll chase them and jump up in the air and try to eat them. I can understand that, but I can't understand people trading a traditional diet for insects. Now, when I talk about insects, I'm talking about this guy is eating crickets on top of his cereal. So, he would have a traditional cereal and milk bowl topped off with crickets. Now, when I say crickets, I'm talking about wings, heads, eyes, legs, the whole thing. And then for a light snack, he'll have celery with humus, and then he'll sprinkle black ants on top. I mean, it's disgusting to me. And then now his favorite meal is black beans, sweet potatoes, mixed with scorpions.
Well, all I can say is good luck. Personally, I think it's just slightly crazy, but that's my opinion.
Well, Dr. Shealy, I'm wondering if what this article is about, and this is a major mainstream media source, lots of views, lots of pictures, and I'm wondering if the system, those who are controlling our lives, those who are making our lives miserable with the rules and regulations, and I'm talking about the chemical spraying, I'm talking about the taxation, put it all together, those people, I wonder if they are trying to condition us to think that, you know what, bugs are in your future. Not only are they in your future, they're going to be in your stomach. Do you think that's possible?
Anything's possible in this best of all possible worlds, but all I can say is good luck on him.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's nuts. I'm not doing it. If I see flies, I try to keep the flies off our food rather than encourage.
Now, just tell your kids, shut up, eat your flies.
Yeah. Dr. Shealy, it's always great broadcasting with you. Thanks for being with us today.